you guys have handled that too, just respecting his privacy on that. And just until Keese is ready, I'm just hoping we can continue that a little bit for him. We'll see how it goes this weekend. But right now he is questionable. So go ahead.
Joe Staley's status, a comment on how he did this week, or is it just where he is in the whole process?
Where he is in the whole process. I mean, we thought going into the week he'd be doubtful. He's got to come out there and do a few things, which have been good. Haven't ruled him out because he does have a chance to play, and I know how badly he wants to, but we won't make that decision until Sunday.
How much of Joe's status do you have to factor in just the quick turn, knowing that if you have him for this game, you might need him again?
Yeah, a good amount. I mean, it's not that, if he needs to be good enough that he can make it through both games, and that's, obviously he's a little bit sore from working throughout the week, and we're going to see how that responds here over the next 24 hours, and then we'll make our decision. It'd be a lot easier if he didn't have to be ready 4 days after that.
You said yesterday it was feeling okay after one practice and before the second one. Do you have any indication of where he's at right now?
I mean, just from talking to him, it seems like he's doing pretty good. I know he wanted to feel how it is tomorrow and things like that, but it's positive, going the right direction. But it's definitely not enough to get him to questionable. He's still doubtful.
What's Levine's injury?
Levine was quad. Groin.
How do you feel with Emmanuel Sanders, the oversaturation of the offensive playbook this week, his progress just in...
Yeah, I thought he did as good as he possibly could. That's always tough for people. It takes all year for guys to get used to it, especially when you miss a foundation in the offseason. But it really helps him being with Scangarillo in Denver, so a lot of it's very similar. So he's able to kind of jump in right away and make some mistakes as it goes. But at least he was able to get in there right away and do some things where most guys, they'd be really overwhelmed. It'd take him some time. Still a huge challenge for him, but he's definitely got as good of a head start as he could.
We'll expect him to be able to play potentially?
Yes, yeah, he's going to play a lot.
I wouldn't expect you to tell us where he's going to play, but are you sort of wanting him to play one specific spot and learn that job, or is he advanced enough in his knowledge of the playbook where you can move him around?
I think it's just sometimes it's a little mentally hard or confusing just in the heat of battle to change positions. So you try to keep him at one position, and we can change where we put that one position based off of our play calls, as opposed to having him change positions based off personnel. So you can still move a guy around a lot while he's playing the same position, but it's just how we use our verbiage.
I know that you've used Levine a lot to help the young tackles. If he can't go, is there another guy on the roster that could kind of fill that role?
No, there isn't right now. So we've been battling that for for about a month now, and we've been fortunate with the tight ends. It's been tough because one of them's had Dwelly's gone to replace the fullback, so it'd be a lot to deal with if he's not able to go. So I know he's going to give it his best, and if we had to play today, I know he wouldn't be able to. So hopefully he'll heal up here in the next day and a half.
What do you make of how the running game is played, or how effective it's been these last two games? I know Washington was obviously difficult given the circumstances, but just overall these last few weeks since you've missed Juszczyk.
I think it's been very effective. I mean, we haven't had an explosive run in the last 2 weeks. But, I was just talking to the guys about this, so I got it on my mind. But to not have an explosive run in the last 2 weeks, but to still be 6th overall and amount of explosive runs, with one less game too than a lot of teams. It shows they've done a lot of good things, and we've gotten a lot of good looks to get those explosives. But when we haven't, the guys have been very efficient and just getting the hard, grimy yards that allow us to have some manageable third downs. Teams have been committing a lot more, and it gets a lot more challenging each week with some of the guys we've been missing. But when we got 4 games in a row getting 40 run plays. I know last week was 39, but I'm going to round up. I think the guys are doing it pretty effectively.
How challenging is this week for your offensive line? It seems like Carolina, much like you guys, has built a lot of their success around their defense.
Yes, I think their defense reminds me as much of our defense as anyone I've seen. It's definitely a playoff defense, and they're one of the big reasons that they've won four in a row. It's as big of a challenge as we had from all of their guys up front, their front 4. They rotate them in just like us because they have some depth there. They got a lot of first-round picks on the D-line. They got some size. They got some quickness. They got as good of a linebacker as there is right behind them. They're able to keep 7 guys in coverage almost all the time because I think they're second in the league at getting to the quarterback, and that allows you to be a lot better in coverage too. So they are very tough.
Kyle, after you guys traded for Emmanuel, Jimmy Garoppolo said that he would spend as much extra time as needed to work with him. Have they stayed after practice and worked together, or gone out there early?
I would guess I'd get in pretty fast after, but I'd be surprised if they weren't out there throwing a little extra.
I know you talked about Kyle Allen the other day, and you worked with quarterbacks your whole career. What does his success sort of say about how it's still difficult to project how a quarterback will do? I mean, guy goes undrafted and obviously been very productive.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much more to playing quarterback than just the obvious talent of people. I mean, it's anyone can see someone throw it really fast and really far. I mean, you guys should watch some of our receivers throw the ball. I mean, Mohamed Sanu could throw it 80 yards. I've seen Emmanuel Sanders throw it very well and far. And you have to be able to throw a football well just to get into the club. But everything else after that is how you play the game, and it's very tough. Especially when you watch college tape, because a lot of it's very different to judge how guys play the game. That has to do kind of what's inside them, how their mind works, how they react to pressure and things like that. And you can see talent and all that, but you really never know what you got until you're with someone and you see them go through a bunch.
Bosa surprised you at all with how good he's been against the run?
Not really, just because, I mean, he plays very physically, plays low. The style that we play with, I think he's built for it. He's not a guy who just is a speed guy who just tees off on the snap count and goes around every time. I mean, he's trying to get into tackles every play, whether it's a pass rush or a run play. And he was very hard to block in the training camp for the days that we did have him out there, so we could see it then. And no, it doesn't surprise me.
What went into the decision to go with Jaquaski Tart long-term over Eric Reed?
I mean, Eric Reed started the year out, got an injury. Tart came in and played at a very high level. We knew he was had more years on his contract. We wanted to renew it with them, and it happens a lot in football. Happened to CJ last year with Nick Mullins when he got his opportunity, but it was a little less about Eric and more about Tart, and us deciding that that's who we wanted here for the long haul.
What's the evolution been like as far as the attention that defenses pay George Kittle over the time that he's been here? It seems like it reached its maximum maybe on
I mean, I think we saw that last year, not right away, but, about halfway through the year. I think people would figure it out regardless of the pub he got, usually by Wednesday or Thursday, just from watching tape and how good he looked. I think the more his numbers went up, I think people kind of had an idea a little bit about it more before they would start the tape. But since we've been here, you talk to opposing coaches, and they know what 85 does on tape, and he's always gotten a lot of attention, and it's looking the same this year as it did at the end of last year.
Couple more. With the Reed situation, I mean, you understand why somebody it happens a lot in the NFL, like you indicated, but you understand why somebody in a contract year might be upset about being asked to change position?
Yeah, I understand every time you ask people to do stuff new for them. That's the hard thing about coaching, and that's the hard thing about playing too. But we were trying to get our best 11 guys out there, and a lot of people play those, dime to a lot of stuff. And, he had to do it for a week. And then Tart got hurt, and so then he had an opportunity to get back to his old position. So, it is what it is. You don't take things personally like that. We try to do our job as best as we can, just like players do also. And sometimes that you got to do what's best for the team and ask guys to be in a spot they might be uncomfortable with. What was cool about it is when we did ask him to, I know he wasn't excited about it, but he did it and did it well, and did what was best for the team, even though he wasn't happy with it. And he ended up getting his spot back when Tart got hurt, and he played at a very high level for us throughout the year that I was very appreciative of.
Coach, with all the injuries that you've had to endure and the moving parts and still being undefeated, what does that say about your team and your system?
I think it says a lot about the character in our room. Our guys have, nothing's fazed them, and it's been cool to watch as a coach. When guys go out and you worry the guys are going to lose some confidence and stuff like that, and just to watch guys during the week, to watch guys on the sideline during games, nothing seems to faze them, no matter who goes out there, no matter what the situation is. When we've had a couple of games that haven't been as tough, and then some games that have been a grind, and not the prettiest games throughout the whole thing. And our team just hasn't wavered in anything, and I think it says a lot about each individual in our building, and collectively it's made us pretty strong.
Will Marquise be able to play on Sunday?
I don't know. Yeah, obviously we hope so, but that depends where he's at. If it was today, I would definitely not. So we'll see how he is on Sunday. But we got a couple more days for that.
All right. Thanks, folks.
Thanks, guys.